What's up, guys? I'm making this video on how to put a Gen 4 3S GTE into your MR2, the SW body. On the NAs, you have to replace the fuel pump, and might as well replace the fuel filter as well. On your turbo models, sw20s, you don't have to replace the fuel pump because it's already made for the turbo engine, but I highly recommend it doing it as well, and of course replacing your fuel filter as well. And this video, this is what I do on my hobby, on my spare time. I'm not a professional mechanic at all whatsoever. This is for informational only, and I'm not responsible for anything that you guys do on your own. This is what I've done on my personal vehicles and just help those that wants to swap in their Gen 4 into their car. So install these engine at your own risk. All right here we have a bone stock Gen 4 3S GTE. Alright guys, here is the finished product of I converted everything to make this Gen 4 3S GTE work on your MR2, the sw20 model. And first off, on this motor I put a CT26 with a billet wheel. You have to reuse the Gen 3 manifold, of course your CT26, and the Gen 3 downpipe as well. Okay, so this is the Burke Gen 3 downpipe and the Gen 3 manifold if you want to run the CT26 or CT20. And another thing that you have to use from your old MR2 would be the AC compressor. It's the same thing as a 5S and a 3S GT, same thing. You have to reuse your AC tensioner bracket, the tension belt. This came off, this one is off of a 3S GTE turbo engine, and you need to modify. You see this white line right here? You got to cut that off, and then you put that on there. So the 3S GTE turbo engine is fit perfectly, and I only use 2 spots to hold it in place. This piece you don't really need it because I mean on my other cars I don't need it as well. If you do really want, if you're picky and you really want to make it fit, you have to modify like this bracket. So essentially this bracket would go in here and everything will bolts up. Okay, and you need some spacer between it to make it work. So here is the stock one. You can see right there, because this part is gonna hit the water pump housing. So you have to grind it down like this. So it's pretty thin. See that piece? You gotta grind this off a little bit if you want to use the engine hook. What I did is I just used the stock 5S one, which is this one, and then just bore these one out a little bit. Just bore these hole out, like this one right here. Just bore it out a little bit, and then put some spacer between it. I just used this to put the engine in and just remove it so it looks cleaner. Okay, and basically I did a custom line. You can reuse the CT15 oil line. This is right here. You could reuse that on there, but since I want to change the turbo out a lot, so I just swap it out. And you can get this online, or I get all my parts from Compos. Since you're here, might as well replace the hose from hell. Gen 4 is a little bit bigger, so make sure you use Gen 4 parts. And then might as well change the thermostat. Okay, that's basically the top piece of this. And onto the side, you have to use the 5S crank pulley or the 3S crank pulley with the belt. And you have to use the alternator bracket from a Gen 2 or from your 5S. And you have to use the alternator as well. And during this time, might as well rebuild it. And in the back side, you have to get like about a 4 foot long, 1/4 inch fuel line from here into your fuel rail. This is the return line. And then you need to make a custom fuel line, the feed line, which is this piece. Okay, this is about 3 feet, which is this piece right here. This go to your fuel filter, and then fuel filter feed up into your fuel rail. Okay, and the transmission, you could reuse your turbo transmission or the S54 or the E153, and I'll show you the clutch kit that you need. And onto the side, you have to get the water neck modified or reuse your Gen 2 with the adapter. Okay, and then the starter is off of your S54 or E153. Reuse that, reuse the transmission. And as for the intercooler, you could use your top mount, which fit perfectly right here, or go a side mount, which most of you already have. And I recommend going side mount because it's the air a lot cooler and you could run higher boost. Okay, and for those guys that wants to keep your CT15B, here's the turbo itself. It is one piece, unlike the Gen 3. It's 2 pieces, and you have to get your cat modified into a 3-inch and 3-bolt flange. So get it modified for to fit your turbo engine. Okay, so this piece is gonna go into my next swap. That's gonna have a bone stock setup. And go into the clutch. You have to use your E1 3S GTE Gen 2, Gen 3, Gen 4. It's the same flywheel. You have to use this flywheel. Reuse your stock one from your turbo engine, or get the Lighten flywheel. And you can get this from Compressor. That's where I get all my parts from. And of course, you need a clutch. The disc, it has to come out of a E153. Okay, E153. Or if you're running an S54 motor, the disc, you have to get S54 disc. The only thing you need from your turbo transmission E153 is the pressure plate and the flywheel. Okay, the pressure plate and the flywheel and the disc, and it has to be the one whatever your transmission go, the transmission that you're using, either S54 transmission, you put on the S54 disc. Okay, E153, you put the E153 disc. Okay, and this clutch is a hybrid plate from Campos. Okay, and that's it. And I forgot to add in the part about the wiring harness. Get the wiring harness done by Doug from Wire Gap, Prime, or Campos. It's everything pre-wire, plug and play. You don't have to mess around with any wiring at all. This basically hooks up to your crank sensor. This is your O2 sensor. Okay, and then these 2 wires is for your intercooler. If you do have side mount, hook these up. If not, leave alone. This go to your AC. Your AC right there. Okay, and the side right here. This go into your engine bay fuse box, and the rest go into your trunk. Hook up to your ECU and hook up to your body harness. And the engine mounts, reuse it from your old engine. And the slave cylinder, reuse it from the old transmission. Everything's the same. I mean, it's straight up, pretty much plug and play. And I'll go over again. Reuse your AC, reuse your AC bracket tensioner. If not, from your S50, your 5S motor, cut that piece in the white line, and it should plug it in. I use 2 bolts to hold it in place. I have no problem with my other cars. So, and this J hook mount, reuse it from your old engine. Reuse the crank pulley from your old engine. Reuse the alternator bracket. Reuse the alternator itself. And modified water neck. And that's pretty much it. And if you use a CT series turbo, CT2026, you need to put a downpipe on there. And if you notice, the Gen 3 and the Gen 4 O2 sensor is a little different. You have to get the adapter plate that goes right here, and then you just screw the O2 sensor on here. So it's pretty simple to get. And if you want to run the CT15, get the cat modified like I have here. And that's pretty much it. And just hook everything back up, and then you're good to go. And this is the coolant line going to your heater core, or just reroute it back into here. Okay, and this go into your heater core as well. So this one heater core, and this is heater core. If you don't use heater core, reroute this hose into this hose. Just use one, and then you're pretty much it. You're all set. And enjoy your new Gen 4. All right, as you can see here, I don't need this piece anymore because I'm running a 18-pound spring wastegate, and I just deleted it because I have a custom wastegate spring already. And for those that want to run stock CT20B or CT26 or CT15, you can hook this up. Just hook this piece back up. All right, and this vacuum line right here, you go into your intake, and this top piece go into your intake. The stock one just only has one line that goes from here to here. And then just put a little breather right here, and you're good to go. And then this one, I usually hook this up into my my boost gauge, which is perfect. And then this line, you just cap that up, and then this one you cap it up. That's pretty much for the vacuum. All right, and that's pretty much what you need to do if you want to put a Gen 4 into your car. And I'm sorry for a 13-minute video. It's a lot for me to cover. And if I forget anything, those who know about this stuff, just go ahead and leave your comments below.